Good morning everyone and welcome to your show Good Morning Kuwait. This is your host Abdulaziz Darwish. We are coming to you live this morning from the Ministry of Information Studios here in downtown Kuwait. As usual, we share with you a variety of segments and even several reports will be with you from now until 10 a.m. And before we start, I would like to greet our working crew and also my colleague Sarah. Good morning, Sarah, and happy to see you today.
Happy to see you too, Abdulaziz, and good morning to you, dear viewers, and everyone who's watching us through KTV2. Welcome to a new episode of your morning program, Good Morning Kuwait. And today, as always, we have various segments and special guests. So please keep watching us till the end of the episode.
Today we'll talk about something important. So June, it's coming next week.
Yes.
So now is the time for starting our summer vacation, dear viewers. So what is the perfect thing to do to arrange for this long time vacation for our children and the parents, and even we call about the social community? What do you recommend for us?
Wow, that's really a great question, Abdulaziz. As I mentioned, we have a really long, let's say, summer holiday. And as you mentioned about the kids and students, because they got confused now, what shall we do for the long break? It's really harmful to do, like, let's say, in the technology, they say long hours in technology, iPads and playing games. But instead of that, we have to advise the parents to, let's say, to join them or make them, let's say, book for, let's say, clubs. For example, for the girls, the ballet, playing piano, like say learning to do some painting. For the, let's say, for kids to do some plantation, for example. Nice. It's really a great activities for the student to be, let's say, to get useful for the longer break.
And also I recommend everyone who's watching us through the KTV2, like in addition with my colleague Sarah said, just check the social media account for Youth Public Authority for their summer campaign for our kids, because you know they have some certain campaigns.
Yes.
And even the NCCAL, they have some certain campaigns also for children. And this for children, but for adults, I recommend to do some like sticking with the routines or enjoying their time, or arranging their time, and even arranging for vacation and traveling.
Exactly, because we have rights as an adult, not only as students, as you mentioned, because we actually have a routine life. Day by day, we have to go to work, go to office. We are all employment, actually, like 90% of Kuwaiti people. But the most important thing to have a break, at least 2 weeks, to travel, for example, to go to a chalet, to stay with your family. It's like have a break, and I can call it restart, actually, for your life.
So we're going to be starting today our show with our daily segment about the weather segment. So let's check about the weather forecast for today, for the whole week. Stay tuned. We are back to our show again, Good Morning Kuwait. Now it's time for our daily segment for the Kuwait News Agency with my dear colleague Sarah. Let's watch it together.
Thank you, Aziz, for the introduction. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mishal Ahmed Al Jabr Al Sabah will inaugurate the official opening of Azor refinery operation at 10:30 a.m. local time on today, Wednesday, May 19th in Al Zur Petroleum Complex. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mishal Ahmed Al Jabr Al Sabah received His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Ahmed Abdullah Al Ahmed Al Sabah at Bayan Palace on Tuesday, who introduced to him newly appointed Chairman of the State Audit Bureau, Isam Salim Al Rumi. Senior official attended the reception. Continuing its campaign, the Kuwait Red Crescent Society dispatched the latest shipment of the medical aid to the Sudanese Health Ministry. The shipment includes 5.6 tons of cancer treatment supplies and 1,000 sanitary bags. Speaking to Kuna, Abdurrahman Al-Aoun, the Director General of the KRCS, emphasized that aiding Sudan is a humanitarian duty, particularly given the difficult circumstances the country is currently facing. The Council of Ministers Tuesday acknowledged former Commerce and Industry Faisal Abdulrazak Al Khalid, who passed away yesterday. The Council of Ministers, in a meeting chaired by His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Ahmed Abdullah Al Ahmed Al Sabah, praised the public service of the deceased and prayed to Allah the Almighty to bestow His blessing upon him. That was all we have for today, dear viewers. Don't go away. Let's have this time to break and then we'll move on.
The Coast Guard is a maritime organization responsible for ensuring safety and security along the nation's coastlines and in its territorial waters. They typically perform search and rescue operations, enforce maritime laws and regulations, respond to maritime emergencies, and protect marine environments. Coast Guards play a crucial role in safeguarding maritime borders, preventing smuggling and illegal immigration, conducting maritime surveillance and patrols, and providing assistance to vessels in distress. They often work closely with other agencies, such as navies, customs, and border protection authorities, to maintain maritime security and uphold maritime laws.
We are back to our show again. Good morning, Kuwait. We are moving for our first interview segment. Graduated from Britannia Royal Naval College from the militarization course and a bachelor degree from the Plymouth University in England. Have a master's degree on applied geoscience and GIS from Kuwait University. Was in charge for the couple of KCG patrol boat, and the latest one was P300. Was in charge of the southern sector in the flotilla department. So let's welcome Captain Mohammed Mustafa Sha'ban, a commanding officer in Marine Transport Department. Hello, Captain, and good morning.
Good morning, Aziz. Thank you for the invitation.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, Captain, in our show. Good morning, Kuwait. Captain, we saw a report about the mission of the Coast Guard, and you've been there for a long time. I see your eyes glowing. Can you tell us about the mission of the Coast Guard?
Sure. The General Department of the Coast Guard and the Ministry of Interior is responsible for the implementation of security and protection measures for the maritime border of the state of Kuwait by preventing illegal entry of vessels, people, and drugs into the country by sea. In addition, we protect marine vital installation and assets. We're carrying out different search and rescue operations. We're tightening the security control over the marine islands, lands, and islands. And we also suppress any violations of Kuwait maritime law.
Nice. That's why you're always appreciating the efforts for your working crew, what they are doing to secure the sea of state of Kuwait against for any violation, drugs, and etc. Because you are representing the country with the flag, state of Kuwait. So this kind of missions need a very skillful persons be there, always to be cautious, be in time, taking responsibility, motivating themselves. Can you share to us about the skills have to be in the Coast Guard, Captain?
Sure. I mean, every Coast Guard member should have a specific amount of skills and knowledge. For example, marine navigations, search and rescue techniques, information about Kuwait maritime law enforcement, and a well understanding of emergency response. In addition, every Coast Guard member should have a good communication skills, as well as boat handling, firearms handling, and well understanding of teamwork and leadership abilities. I mean, these kind of skills can be typically gained through a combination of formal education and on-job experience, a specialized training program, as well as a continuous professional development. I mean, most of our Coast Guard officers have taken these academic knowledge and skills abroad. For example, myself, I went to Britannia Royal Naval College in England. We have the Canadian Coast Guard. Nice. Some people went to Poland, some people went to Egypt, and others graduated from Kuwait Police Academy.
And how was the experience that time in the college? I know, like, you are interacting with different colleagues from different countries. They are like their CR. Maybe we can see they have oceans. Their experience is different than yours. Their shipment is different. How was the experience that time?
I mean, to be honest, it's quite fun. We went there after graduated directly. The Ministry of Interior, they sent us to Britannia Royal Naval College directly after I graduate. So it's actually a good experience because you will get different culture, you will know different situations. I mean, they work on board destroyers and bigger ships than what we have in the Coast Guard, but it is a good experience and we enjoy it, to be honest, over there.
Nice. So I know, like, this kind of jobs have to, you say you face too many bad circumstances, good circumstances, difficulties because of the weather, the current of the sea, the situations. Because people who's working always in the field have more experience. Because field is everything you can see in the field. Tell us more about the difficulties facing the people who's working in the Coast Guard.
Exactly. I mean, the Coast Guard missions are actually challenging due to the unpredictable marine environment. For example, working in harsh weather conditions.
Yes.
I mean, wearing the uniform and full gear at all times, especially under the heat of summer, is challenging. Even during the month of Ramadan, I mean, we still have to conduct our safety patrols and responding search and rescue operations. It is challenging as well. Sometimes restricted visibility, for example, in raining, in haze, on foggy days. I mean, it is challenging. We also do a routine patrol, patrols,
yes,
as well as conducting search and rescue operations in remote or offshore areas. It can be challenging because we may face illegal activities such as smuggling, drug trafficking, or illegal fishings that may pose risk factors which required a specific training to address.
Nice.
And to be honest, Aziz, I just want to tell you, it is, as I'm speaking, I can
sure.
assure you that every personnel in the Kuwaiti Coast Guard are well trained to adapt to the diverse situations to ensure the protection of marine assets and ensure safety at sea.
And also we are believing in you and all people working in the Coast
Appreciate
Guard, because we appreciate the way you are protecting, the way, because you put on your eyes the Kuwaiti flag, you are presenting
Exactly.
your country in any circumstance. You mentioned in holy month of Ramadan, during the fasting time, they are in the sea, patrolling 24/7. This is the job, like you are securing the country. So that's why it goes me to another thing. When you be in the sea, there's too many entities are linking with you during the sea, like the Coast Guard representing the Ministry of Interior, you have public authorities, you have entities. Tell me more about the cooperation between the Coast Guard and different entities.
Exactly, we work with a lot of different government authorities. For example, the Fire Force,
Okay.
represented by the Search and Rescue Department. We work with them in answering distress signals
Yeah.
and search and rescue operation. I mean,
Nice.
especially in the busy summer month.
Yes,
We also work with the Public Authority
nice. APA.
in responding to any environmental violations happened by the seaport operators. We also work with the Kuwait Navy to make sure the protection of the sea borders and the maritime assets. We also have other regional partners and countries we work with, like the Gulf nations
Nice.
and the CTF 151, the CTF 152, which are our coalition forces based in Bahrain. We work with them in maritime security operations and to remain prepared to respond to any crisis or incidents that may happen or develop in the area.
See, you mentioned like 7 entities, 4 locally and even the
And-
others from
and
the
regionally.
GCC. So you're always following a requirement, right? Like, because of you, we were dealing with different kind of countries. There is like a certain requirement, articles you are following.
Exactly, they are specialized training, they are specialized communication we do with these countries. So yeah, exactly.
Nice. And let's talk more about the courses, the captain. We had investing guard with us in the studio. People who's working in the Coast Guard, time by time, they have courses to develop themselves, the languages, to know more about the new technology, the AI, the ships. Tell me more about the course of the Coast Guard.
Actually, we have a specialized training department. It is a specific department in the General Department of the Coast Guard. They are responsible of the professional development of every Coast Guard personnel. They do offer many specialized training. I will speak about some of them. We have this basic seamanship training course.
Okay.
It is a 4 weeks course that actually you will learn basic seamanship skills. You will learn how to deal with boat. You will learn how to do a firearms handling. You will learn a self-discipline. You will get a physical training test. You will actually they will actually try to train you to be a productive Coast Guard member. We also have a specialized divers training course. It is an 8-week course that you will learn more theoretical knowledge about diving and practical skills. We also have the fast boat interception course. It's an 8-month course. We have a self-defense course. It's an 8 weeks course as well.
Okay.
So we have many different courses, and I'm just talking about some of them.
And there is something I want to know more, our captain. People don't know, and especially some of the people, the way when you're receiving a message until you're going to do the message, like we call it in Arabic balagh, in English message. Yeah. So you've been in the Coast Guard for a long time, for 7 years you've been serving there. Tell us more about the steps, the time when you're receiving and when you are applying and you're going to one certain point mission.
It's actually, we call it, it's either a distress calls or a call like we get the call directly from the emergency number, the MOI operation room,
okay.
112. We receive the call from them to our headquarters, and the officer who's in charge of the operation room, he will assign a specific interceptor to go. It's either an interceptor or a patrol ship to go and deal with that incident. So it's the man who is in emergency distress. He must call the MOI operation room, and we will get it exactly, and we will deal with it.
Amazing. Captain, we can say all the time, good times run very fast. We didn't fill the time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are very proud of you and all the people who's working in the Coast Guard. But you have in brief, any last advice you want to say? Last advice, in brief.
Exactly. Because it is the beginning of the season, I wish everyone to have a good time at sea. However, I always advise everyone to follow the rules and regulations at sea. Check the weather before you go out. You have to have a driver license, the boat driving license, and a valid documentation. You have to follow the rules. You have to maintain a proper speed, especially in the busy area. Just enjoy the summer, and when you feel you are in doubt and danger, do not hesitate to call the Ministry of Interior emergency number.
Nice. We are always believe we are in the safe hand. Thank you so much for joining us today. So a special thanks and appreciation to our guest, Captain Mohammed Mustafa Sha'ban. He's the commanding officer in Marine Transport Department. We're moving about different aspects. The Embassy of Canada, in collaboration with the International Committee for the Red Cross ICRC, hosted an event entitled Keeping Humanity Alive at the official residence of Canada. A key focus of the Mr. Su's address was the ICRC's role as the neutral intermediary in the facilitating recent prisoners and exchanging between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, highlighting the complex operation and negotiations such as endeavors and inter. So let's take a look about this certain report. We'll be right back to you. Stay tuned.
Thank you for having us. It's a great honor to be in the residence of the Canadian ambassador because, you know, the Geneva Conventions, they turned 75. It's a marvelous moment for us to pause and reflect, especially with what's going on around the world, to reflect on the values that are taught by the Geneva Convention, to reiterate their relevance and the fact that if respected, they save lives. But also this is the month of the birth of the Red Cross and Red Crescent founder. That's his birthday. So we celebrate also Red Cross Day during the month of May. And it's also a joint occasion for us to come back together and reflect on the work of Red Cross and Red Crescent volunteers and staff around the world, millions of them who are on the front line, be it in natural disaster, armed conflict, war, violence, in peacetime, in their community, making a big difference. So it's great that we are here with friends and friends of Kuwait, friends of Canada, friends of the Red Cross to just share some great moments and reflect together. Well, listen, I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm quite excited. You know why? Because the ICRC and the state of Kuwait
And we come back again to review ours with Good Morning Kuwait. Director of the Department of Health Services for the Elderly at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Fatma bin Dhafiri, had announced that the launch of the awareness campaign to prevent falls among the elderly, its activities had continued throughout the current month and target the elderly, a character of the elderly and the general public instead, in this field, Abdulaziz.
And also the campaign aims to shed light on the falls among the elderly as an important health problem and raise awareness of the importance of preventing falls among the elderly. So let's welcome Dr. Huda Ali Al-Mahad, or the Consultant Family Physician, Old Adult Health Services Directorate, Ministry of Health. Hello, Doctor, and good morning.
Hello, good morning to you. Thank you. You said it all. I really love the introduction.
You are most welcome, actually. So, first of all, can you please tell us about the significance of the campaign and what is the senior category that it aims for?
Well, first of all, good morning all, and greetings from Millennium Hotel, where the campaign is taking place, and it is organized by the Directorate of the Geriatric Health Services in Ministry of Health. Actually, let's first of all define what the fall is, so people would know what we are aiming to do. The fall by itself, it means where the event takes place that occurs to the geriatric person, where there is a knockdown or a drop down to the floor or a lower level, where as a consequence an injury takes place, or like in the fatal events of death. So the aim of this campaign is to raise awareness to the elderly themselves, to the public, and to the caregivers as well. And the target age, where of course the target age of elderly, we consider them as an elderly group. It's from 65 age and above. And it's, as I just said, the campaign is not only for the elderly, it's also for the public and for the caregivers, anyone who is taking care of an elderly at home.
Nice. Dr. Huda Al-Mahdi, I saw some shots now on air. We see the people over there checking the campaign. So how long is the campaign going to last, and what about the effect of the campaign, Dr. Huda?
Actually, the campaign in the hotel started yesterday, and it's because we have categorized them into men and women. Yesterday was for men, and today is for women. But the campaign started on the 20th of May, where we used all the media, like the social media, as well as the traditional local media, to talk about and raise awareness about this campaign.
Well, is it actually the first campaign for the department? And what are the other sectors that cooperated with you?
As for the falls campaign, this is the first time, but the Directorate has arranged other campaigns in the past, anything related to elderly issues, and a very successful campaign we had last year was for Alzheimer's. But as for the falls, it's the first time. What was your next question?
Okay, Dr. Huda, how can person contact with you for the training courses?
For training courses, we usually declare them via our social media, our Instagram, because it's very, very active. Also, the traditional and local media also played a very big role in declaring the dates of the campaigns and the campaigns by itself. So usually we use the social media.
Well, that's really great, Dr. Huda. We appreciate the efforts and the services you are offering for our dear elderly people. And thank you for joining us in Good Morning Kuwait.
So that's why a special thanks and appreciation to our guest, Dr. Huda Ali Al-Mahdi. She's a consultant family physician, Older Adult Health Services Directorate, Ministry of Health. Now we're continuing our report, so let's go watch it together.
The awesome diplomacy of the state of Kuwait to influence positively other states, be it in New York, in Geneva, elsewhere, wherever there is a need to uphold human dignity, we engage with Kuwait to bring humanity at the center. This is one. We engage with Kuwait also to raise awareness of international humanitarian law, because again, this body of law, it is relative to the times of war, but you have to teach it to the world in times of peace. It's in peacetime where you can build a house that can stand strong. So with the state of Kuwait, with the Diplomatic Institute, with the National IHL Commission, and many other Kuwaiti entities, we really disseminate and teach international humanitarian law. And there are many other engagements that we have with the state of Kuwait, but we're just blessed to be here. Kuwait is a great country. It's a humanitarian country. I think of Sheikh Jabir, Allah yarhamu, the old emir, and I wish, of course, all the best for Sheikh Mashal Ahmed Jabir Sabah for his leadership internationally, standing for humanity whenever it matters. So I personally worked in Gaza a few years ago. I was there for almost 3 years. But the Gaza that I knew no longer exists. Every day I talk to my colleagues in Gaza. They are my colleagues. They are also victims of the war. It's been more than 7 months. 2.2 or 2.3 million people have been undergoing the most inhumane circumstance that you can imagine. Unlike many other wars in the Middle East and around the world, people, they usually flee when there is a war. In Gaza, people are stuck. They are stuck, they cannot escape the bombing. There is no place that is safe for them. So many of them, be it our staff or just the people in Gaza, they find themselves displaced 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, up to 7 times, seeking safety. They not only lack the basic safety, but also just the basic essential services that keep life going is missing for them. They have absolutely no prospect now for a clear future that is safe and livable. So the situation is just, it's what we call a catastrophic moral failure of the international community. Now we have our colleagues on the ground doing a fantastic work, helping the people as much as we can, and we will continue to be next to them on their side, and hope that soon the bullets and the rings of the bombs will stop.
We came back again, dear viewers, with our second special guest for today. Coaching expert with more than 40 years of experience in the airline services industry, having started his career as a flight attendant at Kuwait Airways, and gave him the opportunity to learn how to provide a world-class customer service and delightful customer experience. During his tenure as flight attendant, he was promoted to senior manager and was responsible for the flight with the royal family and high-profile government officials of Kuwait globally. To talk more about that, let's welcome with a great pleasure Mr. Bassam Dabliz, expert quality control operational department. So hello and good morning, Bassam.
Good morning to you, Sarah, and thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. So we're going to talk about the Bluebird today.
Okay.
But first of all, we'd like to know more, or let's say introduction about the Bluebird.
Well, Kuwait Airways, as everyone knows, established in 1953. It's one of the leading airlines in the region. And since then, it had connected Kuwait with different countries. And the best part is that it is the national carrier of the country.
Yes, that's really great, Bassam. So, dear viewers, we're going to move on, but let's have this tiny little break and then we'll continue later. We'll move on, dear viewers, with Mr. Bassam, the Bleeze and the Bluebird. So we'll talk about the introduction, let's say a brief introduction about the Bluebird, but now we'd like to know about the investment, employee development. What does that mean?
Well, Kuwait Airways does invest in one of the main strategy. One of the main strategy of Kuwait Airways is to invest in training their employee, and this will have positive impact overall on the company performance. So all the staff of Kuwait Airways or the employee of Kuwait Airways go through extensive training.
That's really great, Mr. Bassam. So what does the Flight Services Department stand for?
Okay, Flight Service Department is one of the departments belong to Operation Department under Kuwait Airways, and Flight Service is the place where the crew they go through training to be clear and to go on board the aircraft to provide service.
Yes.
Flight Service has so many sections. One of them is the dispatch. The other one is briefing rooms before the flight. The other one is you have the schedules, the one who prepare the rosters for the flights.
Wow.
Yes. And this is in brief of Flight Service.
That's amazing, Mr. Bassam. So what kind of a training cabin crew actually received before become, let's say, a flight attendant?
Well, thank you for asking these questions. At least we give an idea for the viewers what kind of training the crew goes through. Flight attendant, before they are cleared to be on board the aircraft or they are labeled as flight attendant, they go through extensive courses. And that courses cover safety, cover first aid, and cover dining service, or we call it in-flight service for passengers.
Well, that's really amazing. So do they have actually rank in the plane actually? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. On board the aircraft, there is, of course, we call them, you have the cockpit, where you have the captain and the first officer, and in the cabin, you have the staff who are serving passengers. You have different ranks. You started with the senior crew member, who is in charge of the cabin crew, and then you have first class cabin crew, and then you have economy cabin crew. First class cabin crew mean that they work in first class cabin or premium cabin, and then you have economy crew where they work in economy cabin.
That's amazing. So let's talk now about something actually all the people love, which is the menu actually of the Kuwait Airways. Me, by myself, actually I love it for the Bluebird for sure. So can you tell us more about that, the menu?
Well, it's good to hear that you enjoy the food on Kuwait Airways, and that's give us an extra credit. But Kuwait Airways cater their menu to culture, to serve the diverse passengers cultures we have on board the aircraft, where you have different cuisine. You have where you can, Asian cuisine, Arab cuisine, Kuwaiti cuisine, and where we do also have some chefs. They prepare Kuwaiti dishes.
Yes.
And recently we received a good feedback about the Kuwaiti dishes on board the aircraft.
Wow, that's amazing. What's your favorite meal cuisine, Mr. Bassam?
For me, I'm a seafood person.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to eat fish.
And they have a professional chefs actually for that.
And we have Kuwaiti chefs also, where they prepare Kuwaiti dishes, yes.
Wow, that's amazing. I know a lot of people, they have the feedback of the Bluebird about their food. It's really amazing, especially the lunchtime. So, Mr. Bassam, let's talk now about the B777 cabin.
Well, Kuwait Airways has 10 aircraft, Boeing 777. And this aircraft is divided into 3 cabins.
Yes.
One of them we called or labeled as Royal, where you have 8 passengers.
Wow.
And they have their individual suite. And these passengers, they have the privilege to be served the time they desire. And then you have business class, where you have 36 passengers. And then you have economy, where they have 290 passengers.
Wow.
And most of these aircraft, they fly long destinations, especially if you are going to New York, going to Europe. And the design of the cabin, especially Royal, it gives you your own privacy. You can, like as long you're sitting in your own single, small, tiny room.
Wow, that's amazing. Actually,
Thank
encourage
you.
some people, because now we are in summer, let's say, season. A lot of people are traveling, and maybe they consider the beach travel, let's say, 7 cabin actually flight. So let's talk now about, let's say, let's talk about the specialized actually, or the distinguished actually for the Bluebird.
Well, what's distinguished Kuwait Airways from other airline is the sense of belongings and assurance the passengers experience through the flight, and we notice that through their suggestions, which the management take it into high consideration.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank
so
you.
let's talk more about the cabin crew. As you mentioned, they have a lot of courses or training.
Yes.
So it's like anyone can be, let's say, like a part of the cabin crew? Anyone can be like that? Or?
Well, the process of being a flight attendant, first you go, we call it screening. Then you have to, you have to match the criteria of being flight attendant.
Okay.
And I would like to mention over here, if the person who apply and disqualify does not mean he is not fit for any other job. But make it simple, if you agree with me, everyone understand the sport language. So if you apply for, if someone who's playing basketball and someone who's playing tennis, both of them are athlete, they are called, sport, but this one is needed for this kind of sport and this one is needed for this kind of sport. As a flight attendant, you are you have the interview first, then you have screening, then you have tests. You have English test, written and speaking, and then if you pass all these tests, then you go through the courses. Now courses take safety, first aid, and others courses take almost 1 month, and once come to service, it's take almost 3 weeks, and that's include, we call it communication skills, soft standards, how to handle situations on board the aircraft, how to serve passengers. And in the end, the main job of the flight attendant is to provide the feelings of safety and comfort during the flight.
Wow, that's amazing actually. So actually, there are any ages, like between age to what, the branch of ages?
Well, yes, there is a limit age. If I'm not mistaken, you cannot cross the age of 32.
Okay.
And you start by the age of, I think 22 or 23. I'm not. I cannot confirm this right now.
Wow. So I actually have like more demanding for Kuwaiti, let's say, female.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, in fact, when I started, we had 1 Kuwaiti female.
Okay.
And now we have, mashallah, we have more than. I can't recall the number, but we have a lot of locals who are interested in this job.
Actually,
and you can experience this when you fly. When you fly on board the aircraft, you experience that there is Kuwaiti who are, serving, and this is beautiful because to serve a human being, you agree with me, it's require high dignity.
Exactly.
And that's, we have a lot of locals who are interested in this job.
Well, it's a noble thing to do, actually.
Yes.
So do you have any more to tell us about the Bluebird, Mr. Bassam?
Yes. I had spent almost all my life in Kuwait Airways, and it was a beautiful experience. And summer is coming, so I invite everyone to experience a good flight flying on Kuwait Airways, or as you call it, Bluebird.
Bluebird, that was amazing actually. Great interview, Mr. Bassam, and thank you actually for joining us here in Good Morning Kuwait.
Thank you for having me, and I hope we shared good information with the viewers. Thank you.
For sure. Big thanks and appreciation to our dear guest, Mr. Bassam Dabliz. He's an expert in quality control operational department. Don't go away, dear viewers. Let's have this time to break, and then we'll move on.
We are back to our show again. Good morning, Kuwait. Today we have a privilege to interview Captain Mohammed Mustafa Sha'ban. It was a great pleasure, and we are very proud for people who's working in the Coast Guard. Their activities now during in the summer season, you know, we call them our first liners in the sea. He spoke with us about the skill, how to be in the people who's working in the Coast Guard, how the difficulties they are facing, the courses, and he gave also an advice to everyone who's watching us through the KTV2, just to be aware for the sea, just to give a call instead if you want to go to the sea.
That's really amazing interview, Abdulaziz, and also our dear guest, our second guest, Mr. Bassam Dabliz from the Bluebird plane. Actually, it was amazing to tell us about how actually the Bluebird distinguish between among actually other flights, and how can make everyone who flies in the Bluebird relieved and relaxed, especially the cabin crew who's working there. Also, they are actually interesting and care about them, how to make them feel comfortable and happy while doing their work. It was really an amazing episode.
That's a good thing, like even our working crew all around the Strait of Kuwait, and to show us great events. We saw like a multiple of reports, locally and even internationally, and even we saw a report with the head of the delegation for ICRCs, Mr. Mamadou Sow. He spoke about his reason of visiting the State of Kuwait, and he has a discussion panel in the residence of Canada Embassy, and Her Excellency the Ambassador of Canada to the State of Kuwait interviewing him as a discussion panel during the residence, Alia Mawani. So they have a discussion about the situation what's happening in the GCC and even in the Middle East.
Well, that's really amazing, dear viewers. I hope you enjoyed our episode as much as we did. See you for next time and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. See you tomorrow.